the more we understand with the beauty and the depth of the Torah, the less we are. We realize how much we don't understand. But the gift is that when we're learning, we're connected to it. The difference is, now there's one last point that the Alter Rebbe mentions over here. He says, we down here in the world, the lowest world, he said Albert Einstein was dealing with the lowest world. That's what his whole life was, trying to figure out the lowest world. We in the lowest world have something that souls and angels in the higher worlds don't have. They cannot get to study Torah. Angels never study Torah. It says that the angels had the Torah, but when Hashem gave it to the Jews, they wanted to stop. They wanted to stop Moshe from taking it, and Hashem let Moshe take it. He says, no, the Torah is meant for the Jews. They don't have the Torah. They just see God and the little bit that they could, since the angels are more refined, what's an angel? Think of a soul without a body. Right? Our soul is holy. If it comes into the body, it becomes desensitized. Our whole life in the world is try to become more sensitized, to try to overcome, be in control of the body, not let the body control us. And even that, we can't really do it to a complete way. Our body it's always going to have an effect, a negative effect on our connection to Hashem. An angel is a soul without a body. And a soul without a body, whatever it sees it to the fullest. A body is like a cataract on our eyes, and our spiritual eyes. We don't see things the way they are. We see them very vaguely. Sometimes we get really, really involved with our body, and we're totally blinded. We don't appreciate anything spiritual. And thank God we have the ability to study Torah, and especially the inner realm, Musar and Kabbalah and Hasidus. And we could refine the body, and we start seeing, we start appreciating, we start feeling, but never as much when the soul wants to leave the body. The soul doesn't like being in the body. Imagine someone puts a blindfold on you. The soul, when it's in the body, it's like blindfolded, and it wants to pull it off. That's why we have to thank Hashem every morning that when our soul comes back, our soul does not really want to come back.
So, why don't some of the tzaddikim try to squeeze out some of the miracles like cures for cancer? Since there's infinite wisdom, they try to get some practical information so they can help the general population. Cure for cancer, cure for diabetes, besides world peace and other big, like world hunger. Can they try to look for specific solutions? Because we can't obviously solve them by ourselves.
I think that specific solutions...
We can't solve them. Our politicians can't solve them. Our presidents can't solve anything. In fact, they make it worse. Maybe the Usher and Mashiach.
It's so practical.
I think
you're looking at so practical.
I
want a solution. My doctor can't tell me.
It's a very, very good question. And tzaddikim do it in a different way.
Right. Okay.
They do it sometimes. I don't know why there's no cure for cancer yet.
Bring it down to them.
What tzaddikim do, let's take the example of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. One of the big problems that any society has, especially before they had irrigation the way we have it now, and you could bring water from from far away with your pipes. If there's no rain, there's no food. So we have a whole tractate in the Talmud. The Mishnah is called Tainis. It teaches us how to ask God for rain, mainly.
Okay.
Most of it. And it says that many sages, you have a famous story of Choni HaMe'agel. Why was he called Choni HaMe'agel? Choni, the circle man. See, the world needed rain, the Jews needed rain, and so he made a circle, and he said, I'm not leaving the circle until God sends rain, and God sent rain. They're all different prayers. The Zohar tells us a different story. Rabbi Shimon did it in a different way. Just think about Rabbi Shimon. Prayer and Torah study, two modes of connection. So Torah is a deeper, a greater way, but only if you learn it properly. When the world needed rain, Rabbi Shimon didn't pray. He said a thought on the verse, Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. It's a verse from Tehillim. How it's pleasant when brothers sit together. He explained the significance of the verse according to Kabbalah, and that's what happened. It rained. Yeah, it started to rain. So, particular cures that's what Albert Einstein figures out. He tries to understand the secrets of anyone like him, the secrets in this world, and God did invest cures into the world. He put different plants and different stones and different and later, we had the antibiotics were discovered lately.
But he took the book of cures away, right? And now we're.
And what was the problem? It's a good point to bring up.
Yeah, because I guess
King Chizkiah, there was a
people
book.
were arrogant.
King Shlomo Melech.
Yeah, we had.
He had a book of cures.
We had.
And people thought that they could find the cures. That's what science does. It finds cures within nature.
Right.
What we have to realize is that what's the cause? What's the real cause of illness?
Sin.
Sin. And in a general way, it doesn't mean everyone who gets sick. It's because not everyone who sins gets sick, and everyone who gets sick is because he's a sinner. But on a deeper level, the concept of the reason why the world has death and suffering and sickness is because the world is not really in touch with Hashem. So what tzaddikim, when they're not going to find a cure in the Torah. That's not what they're going to do. Tzaddikim are going to heal the world by teaching more Torah, by furthering more morality, and that will help the world. You don't need a cure for cancer. You have to stop cancer from coming to the world.
Okay.
That's the real cure. That's that's the age of Mashiach, and pay attention that there were different sicknesses that 70, 80 years ago were deadly, and as the world was proceeding towards Mashiach, there's a greater revelation of Torah in the world. We see already we could start a foretaste of Mashiach, that there's sicknesses that thank God are eliminated. Antibiotics took care of things that 150 years ago people would die from a regular ammonia, right? Antibiotics.
He says.
Now, who was it? Who discovered it?
Salk.
Huh?
Who, Dr. Salk? Or which one?
The antibiotic, wasn't it French guy?
Pasteur.
Pasteur, right?
Louis Pasteur.
Why did Louis Pasteur discover antibiotics?
Pasteur.
Why was it? Why did God give him that power? Why couldn't Aristotle discover antibiotics?
Maybe he was
Because in Aristotle's times, the world was not as close as it is to Mashiach. It didn't have as much as tzaddikim who lived in the world yet. It didn't have Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai yet. Not great tzaddikim, not enough to make the world. And they didn't have the Arizal and the Baal Shem Tov and the great tzaddikim. When tzaddikim, they cured the sicknesses are actually like kind of like a cream. In a more general sense, the discoveries of science. They deal with particular problems. Torah heals the root of the problem. The more the world is connected to Torah, the world is better. That's why countries that have more Jews, naturally, are more affluent. Because there's more Jews generally do Torah, do mitzvahs, at different levels, but Jews are generally closer to Hashem. That's their mission in the world. And that country is more affluent, and the more Jews do, the safer the world is. When it says that if not for the Torah, says Hashem, the world day and night wouldn't exist. Torah makes everything exist, and the more Torah, the deeper Torah, the better Torah, the world is in better shape. So that's really the answer.
Okay.
That the particulars that's what science does. But we could deal with the real core by just the world being in sync with its godly calling. The world is going to become a better. That's what Mashiach is about. Mashiach will reveal the deepest secrets of Torah, and the world will be in its best possible situation. There will be no hunger, no sickness, and no war.
He said, "I won't afflict you if you follow my statutes."
Exactly.
And, yeah, he said
And
that clearly.
that applies to the whole world. So now, the angel, he doesn't know as much about God. He knows very little, but the little bit that he knows, since he doesn't have a body, he trembles from it. He feels it. He sees it clearly. Us down here, we could study Torah, and we're not going to tremble. And the angels are probably wondering, you have the Torah, how could you study Torah and then go to work? That's what Rabbi Shimon and his son were wondering. You have eternal life, and you're choosing to
Well, who's going to feed
to live a temporary life.
Who's going to feed everybody?
That's the reason.
Okay.
And that's why God gave us the Torah in this world. But the angels, they wonder, and they say, you're connected to Hashem in the strongest way. How do you not see it? They don't have a body, they don't understand that. And they don't understand that there's Hashem, even Rabbi Shimon had to do mitzvahs. Because there is an advantage, we're going to learn in the second part of Tanya, not the second, but later on. Why, here we're discussing how Torah is greater than mitzvahs. Later on we're going to explain how mitzvahs are greater than Torah in one way. In Judaism, everything, there's always two sides to the coin. Here that's the focus. So we are actually having that connection to Hashem. Because we're living in a body, we don't feel it. But the truth is, the more a person becomes sensitized, the more a person works on his character, he controls his body, he doesn't let his body control and take the lead. Just studying Torah, you're just going to study Talmud, you're already going to feel awe, you're going to feel Hashem's greatness. Torah, sometimes people could study Torah, and they could use the Torah to make money, to get glory, to get honor, which is the whole opposite of what Torah is all about. That's because it's so high; it can be used so low. Mitzvahs, no. Besides for tzedakah, no one makes fame from mitzvahs. Usually, Torah, it's much easier. I mean, it's wisdom. But that's the flip side. The Torah is really much greater than that. And so we have to realize that when we study Torah, we're connecting in the strongest possible way to Hashem. And whether or not we realize it, that's what's happening. So we have that great ability. So every time we're a little bit lazy to study Torah, you realize that you have a chance now to connect to Hashem more than any angel could ever think of. Even more than doing a mitzvah. Your connection to Hashem by studying Torah. So that's just the amazing thing. So every mitzvahs in general, and especially Torah, are ways for me to realize the truth of God. Mitzvahs is on a lower level, Torah is on a higher level. It's a way for me to realize the truth of God. And actually, if I believe in God and I'm ready to live my life for God and to give up my life for God, so I should be ready to do mitzvahs, to dedicate my body to God, to let God control my body, and definitely to let God become one with me by studying His wisdom, by knowing God's mind. And then every simple Jew who studies, even doesn't understand, he reads the words of Shema without understanding, then he's doing something much greater than Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein himself, he would study Torah, saying the words of Shema which he didn't understand properly. I don't know if you know Hebrew or not, but whether or not, if he would study Torah, the Rogatchover was studying Torah, he was doing much more than him. Even if the Rogatchover was not the Rogatchover, if it was someone like a regular, simple Jew who reads words of Torah, he goes to a Torah class, or he reads words of Tehillim, you're connecting to God Himself. You are dedicating your life to figure out how God runs His smallest enterprise, which is the world. Studying Torah, you're connecting to the core, to God Himself. So that's the greatness of studying Torah, which is another way, a deeper way to achieve a unification with Hashem, even more than mitzvahs, which create a subservience of you to Hashem. Next week, same time, same place, and everyone should have a good, blessed year. In all ways, no sicknesses and no hardships, only good and kindness.
Thank you.
So, pleasure.
What's the next topic, Levi?
The next topic will be